This is a magical lunation, this new moon in Pisces. So get ready to learn 3 things to know about this moon, as well as how it will impact your sign. Hey everyone, I am Christine. I'm an intuitive spiritual coach, consultant, energy healer, and reader, and I wear many more hats. We are going to dive into the new moon in Pisces, happening Monday, February 20th at 2:06 AM Eastern Standard Time, New York City time for reference. This is happening at 1 degree and 22 minutes of Pisces. So this is a brand spanking new chapter, cycle, and phase. So I feel like, and I kept getting a lot of fairy tale energy with this, doesn't mean that it's going to be easy and that everything that we have is going to poof happen, because with some of the Saturnian energy that we've had and aspects, this is thinking and connecting our current wishes, dreams, and hopes, things that we really want to bring into reality. I'm talking big dream, fairy tales. If you feel like it's huge, these are the types of dreams and intentions and goals that I'm asking you to think of for this new moon in Pisces. Saturn is allowing us to look at the long term and realize, okay, what steps do I need to take to accomplish this? So I love the energy here because this is offering us stability and also giving us purpose in a practical, realistic sense. This isn't about just staying in our headspace, dreaming, romanticizing, and simply keeping everything in our head. It's about getting that into an earthly way, right? Into a practical way, onto the soil. So again, all of this energy you may have been feeling since or I should say not we, but the sun ingressed into Pisces yesterday. A little bit of, it felt like dreamy. To me, I kept getting fairy tale. I wanted to see cartoons all day. It was that type of energy. And we have the sun, moon, and Neptune all in Pisces. And at the time, just shortly after the moon enters Pisces, we have Venus ingressing into Aries. And so it's leaving Pisces to Aries. So it's like a shift too. And all of this energy is allowing us to really connect to our higher selves, to our subconscious, but I also want to say bring that subconscious knowledge, intuition, things that we may have kept shelved, hidden, suppressed, or even things we didn't want to encounter or face. We're making it conscious. And so some of you may be connecting to these messages from your spiritual team, through your higher self, or through dreams, or whatever way that you receive your intuitive and psychic messages, because everyone receives it very differently. This is a time to really connect to that aspect of ourselves and ask yourself, what is it that I have been feeling called to do? Where do I feel like something is missing and I have an idea? I'm getting messages about how to plug that area in. So I'm experiencing greater balance, greater joy, harmony, whatever it is that you may be seeking. Because there's also an emotional aspect to Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. It's a mutable sign. If you think of an aquarium, like a fish tank, and you fill it up with water. And as I'm saying that, you may hear my wiener dog drinking water like a little horse in the background. But when we pour water into anything, it immediately permeates everything, right? It fills the cracks, crevices, and holes. It doesn't choose one side. So in that same way, your emotions may be taking up space in certain areas of your life, and you may be feeling like something has to change here, and I'm feeling it. And you may be feeling those endings coming, because whenever we start something new, we are also letting go, closing the chapter, closing the door, saying goodbye to something else. And that's a natural transition in life. So the emotional aspect, pay attention to what it is you're feeling pulled, what's coming up for you. Because if you're feeling a certain area of your life or a certain theme or even people, that's giving you insight and clues into where you may want to bring in a new reality, where you may want to co-create. Maybe you want to manifest something new, and it's tied to something I feel like you may have thought about, that you may have already created goals or had some type of vision for yourself, but for whatever reason, you may not have gotten to the point where you were able to bring it into your own reality in a practical sense. So again, this is a really good time to dream big, with Piscean energy, this is about having no limits. Again, this could be a plus or a minus. Pisces energy, it's very fluid again. There's no boundaries. And so this is your opportunity to really think about, okay, what is it that I really, really want? In this, I would say not just this next lunation and even 6 months from now, but in the next several years, because on March 7th, we have Saturn ingressing into Pisces from Aquarius. So I feel like this is almost like a drink, an appetizer, like a precursor, if you will, of the long-term commitment and stability that you will have with this particular intention or goal or manifestation. There's going to be longer-term ramifications. I feel it's positive, so think big. And that's why I opted for this particular video to include more information on where this lunation is passing through with each sign, which is something I've never really felt compelled to do at this time, but I think it's important. And again, you may be feeling energies with Piscean energy, broadly speaking, right? It focuses a lot on creativity, on music, on imagination, our intuitive and psychic gifts, mental health, romance as well, love in the unconditional sense. So a lot of these energies are allowing us to really, again, I keep getting fairy tale. I keep seeing like a Cinderella's castle. And this isn't to diminish your goals or to say, you know, that's never going to happen. It's actually on the contrary to say, dream big. And the first thing that I'm getting a Rolls Royce in my head. I don't know why, because I'm not attached to it. But again, perhaps this is just an example to use. If you want someone that wants a particular car, maybe a Rolls Royce, and you're not there where you have the budget to purchase that at the moment, but you're like, I really want this, don't be afraid to set that intention. Because over the next 3 years with Saturn and Pisces, I feel like we can use this energy to build towards that. And sometimes we worry about, oh, it's never going to happen, but just set your goal. If I could say anything straightforward here, set your goal, set the intention, and take practical steps no matter how small, because you will be surprised of all the beautiful things that will start to align for you. As long as this is something that's very heart-centered, it's something very soul-connected, and it's something meaningful to you. If you're doing or setting a goal or an intention that you really don't give a shit about, that's where you're going to see stuff fall apart. You're not going to really see the level of progress that you're seeking. That's why it's really important. Perhaps I'm speaking for all new moons and even full moons. Anytime you are setting goals, I felt such a need to say that. So dream big. Don't be afraid to do that, because we're going to receive a lot of messages during our dream state or any other way that you tend to receive intuitive psychic guidance. We are receiving a lot of messages through our creativity. Pay attention to what you feel, things that start coming up for you during creative times, rest times. I would say sleep as well, hence the dream state, when you're in deep flow. Also, when it comes to doing service, I know Pisces is 6th house energy too, but Pisces is very oriented on love and helping others, being there for others. And some of you may be called more to give more of your energy, of your time, of your resources, whether, again, it's money, time, energy, or you may be exploring service opportunities. And I'm saying this right now, not to say volunteer or any of that, but pay attention to what comes up for you during these interactions. I kept getting a lot of inspirational hits, things people say to you, people you encounter, different resources, quotes, messages, and signs that are going to come around, because these are all cluing you in potentially on, okay, this is a window and you only see one part of the window, but this is something that's coming up as an inkling, an inspiration, a hit. It's almost like the universe saying, go ahead. We have Mars in Gemini that trining Mercury in Aquarius. So to me, with this energy, this is about really exploring and getting curious with everything that's coming up. Some of you may be or may have kept a journal with all your creative thoughts. If you haven't, I suggest writing them down, because I feel like during this season of Pisces, and particularly during this lunar phase for the next 2 weeks, and I'll say even when Saturn goes into Pisces, you are going to be getting a lot of intuitive messages. You could call them thoughts, but they're going to just come up, instincts, if you will. Write them down. That is going to allow you to explore different facets of your goals, of what it is that you want to explore, to get curious, to connect to your intellect, and also to start on the more analytical side, dig, and to look for new ways to break out of the old and embrace the new. Because again, with Mercury and Aquarius, these are ideas that may be different than what you have experienced before. You may be wondering, wait a minute, okay, it's the same goal, but different way of doing it. Or a different goal, but a new way of approaching it. It's that type of energy that's coming forth. So get ready to embrace all of these new lines, new streams of consciousness, information that are coming through, that is coming through, I should say, for you, because it's there to help you. What this lunation I feel is really positive for and really great is for connecting into your feelings, because again, Pisces is a very emotional sign. We tend to go inwards, to become more insular, to want to withdraw and melt within ourselves, but also permeate into and with others. So sometimes you may struggle with boundaries during this time. But again, this is about feeling what feels good for you. Pay attention to that, what no longer resonates. Again, whether it's with people in your life or what you're doing or a routine or a habit, this is a great time to assess that, because you will really be surprised how things quickly change and they're shifting. You may be feeling things are coming to a culminating point, especially and before we get into March. I also kept getting intimacy, so that's another layer I want to add. In a lot of readings I've been getting, or I've been doing, I should say, and simply general energy readings have done, intimacy has been a particular facet to unpack and to unveil. So I feel like more folks are becoming more intimate with themselves. That's going to mean something different for everyone, but I feel like that is more opening the emotional closet and really tapping into how they're feeling and no longer hiding it, no longer suppressing it, embracing that part of themselves. Think those that may feel more sensitive, whether you're a healer, you're an empath, a highly sensitive person, maybe you identify as someone who's neurodivergent, neurodiverse, or whatever it is, fill in the blank. There's something that has come up about sensitivity and embracing this part of yourself, this side of yourself, and really opening this intimate part of who you are, but more with yourself first, because that'll allow you to also do that with others once you do that with yourself. Again, this lunation is amazing for, very broadly speaking, setting goals around your spirituality, your spiritual foundation, your spiritual routine, whether you're starting or wherever you are in your journey. And that's going to look very different. Maybe it's meditating, learning to ground yourself, learning to be open and receptive so you can receive and really trust that the information you're getting, their messages from your spiritual team, etc. This is also going into that, another wonderful time to hone, cultivate, and nurture your intuition and psychic gifts. You may feel an increase, we'll just say sensitivity, extrasensory perception around you with people, those that have transitioned, other beings, other dimensions. You may start feeling like windows or portals have been opening for you. Again, everyone experiences it differently, and not everyone has a very strong dream state that they can reconnect or recall. Sometimes you get information in other forms, maybe after a meditation or during a particular creative work session or deep flow. It's going to vary, but pay attention to that. For those of you that are feeling a little bit fearful or resistant to exploring or diving deeper into some of your intuitive or psychic gifts, this is also an opportunity to start looking underneath why. Because again, the 12th house energy here, well, Pisces, it's about opening that closet, almost like you go and revisit an attic or a basement that you haven't been to in a long time, and you're like, shit, it's dusty, it's dirty, there's boxes. You open them, you go down memory lane, and you start kind of becoming more acquainted to things that may have triggered you. Maybe they're bringing up feelings of sorts. This is a time to connect the dots here and ask yourself, okay, what's happening here? And to set small steps forward so that you can have that balance in your life. It's almost like the coexisting worlds. This is also finally another great time to really assess and check in with yourself in terms of your mental health. And I'll say mental health check-ins, I feel they should happen daily. It's important. Weekly at the optimal time, but daily is the best. But because Pisces energy deals with, I should say 12th house energy deals with mental health, mental illnesses, addictions, and things like that. This is a great time to assess where you are, how you're feeling. Sometimes you may be experiencing certain shifts in your moods, which is very common. And that goes into something very different depending on so many parts of your natal chart. But beyond that, assess where you are and how you're feeling, because that's also going to tap and clue you into, okay, maybe what is happening right now in my life is not where I want to go. So things need to shift. So this is going to be a lunation where I'm starting fresh in a certain area or areas of my life. So that's why it's important to really stay attuned and connect to your mental and emotional health, because they give you a lot of clues. And when we actually pay attention to how we feel and we connect the psyche and the soma, it's amazing. It's like a firework session has happened and we're like, wow, I finally understand the connecting dots here. Okay, guys, we are going to shift into 3 things to know about this full moon. And I receive intuitive messages during my meditation session. And the first one that I got was be careful of what you dream. And I enunciated care because that's exactly how it came through for me. I saw be careful of what you dream. So again, take care, because a lot of what's coming up, I feel, is very much connected to messages you're receiving. We can call it from the other side, from the subconscious, from the hidden, from the unknown, the mystery, esoteric world, whatever you want to say. You may not even know how you're getting these messages. That's really the bottom line. But you're receiving messages, guidance, hints that are giving you foresight into your next path. It's almost like little nuggets. You know, when you have puzzles, it's almost like having or seeing a completed puzzle, right? And then all of a sudden it goes black and they only show you a little colored blip. And you're like, I don't know what that is. It's similar to that. You may be seeing messages and you're like, I have no idea what this means. That's why I mentioned earlier, and I advocate for this. I need to do a separate video. Write it down. Write it down if you don't know. You may be getting a lot of things, and when you look at them after several days, weeks, even months, sometimes longer, you'll realize there was a pattern connecting you. And you may start receiving, again, different resources on the human plane and also spiritual plane that are going to assist you. So when I say be careful, I'm not talking or really denoting any fear or danger. Not at all. Take care in terms of the clarity in which you define your new moon intentions or goals. Get super, super clear. That's why I always say tap into how you're feeling. It's easy to say, I want to run a marathon, maybe because everyone, your family, your friends are all doing it. And when you tap in with yourself, you're like, I don't give a shit about running. I don't want to do it. I'd rather chase a ball with my dog than run. So really get very clear about what you would like to call in and co-create, because that is going to really help you to the best of your ability, but also help you reach the most optimal state in your life. Because again, if you manifest something you're not really wanting, you're not connected to, you'd be surprised. It can come in and then you're like, you're left feeling, this wasn't really what I wanted. And again, this is another, I'm getting another image about a house. An example, say for instance, you want to purchase a house, and in your mind, you know you want a green house with a white fence, and you want a lot of trees. But instead of detailing that, maybe you say, I want to manifest a house. And then you get a house that has no trees. It's surrounded by buildings, no borders, gates, nothing. It's not even green. It's yellow. It's similar to that. Get really, really clear about what you would like. Because I feel like this energy, you're going to manifest things really fast when you get really aligned and connected from your heart, from your soul. That's why I'm saying this soul connection, a lot of it's coming from the other side, from the spiritual world. And I feel like a lot of us have already planted those seeds on the subconscious level. We're just reconvening. We're just reuniting with those again. It's like a piece of art, I guess, coming back alive. Okay. Second thing to know about this lunation, close the door. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I saw a door being closed literally, and I'm like, what? So this is a reminder that whenever we start something new, whenever we are about to initiate something new, something has to end. And this is something I feel like many of you already are feeling. You may be feeling a disconnect with certain people in your life. You may be feeling a disconnect with work perhaps, or what you're doing, or the industry you're in. Maybe you no longer feel like, you know what, how I'm spending my time after work, after school, maybe after putting the kids to bed, this isn't what I want to do. And you may be realizing, I think this is something that I'm ready to shift or move on from. And so this is a time to recognize, okay, what do I need to clean up in my life before I'm ready to start something new, right? It's almost like if you want to be open to love and start a new romantic relationship, well, make sure that you have made peace with your past. Make sure that you have healed any of those wounds that have come up repeatedly. Make sure that you are not engaging in relationships with exes, because otherwise it's going to be hard for you to have that capacity and openness and receptivity for the universe to be like, okay, this person has room. So in the same vein, things are going to be closing. And I feel already you all intuitively, innately have felt that and are feeling it. And we may be feeling like we're running out of time. We're not. I feel like it's simply the shift of energies and timelines. Some of you are shifting into, you could say, quantum leaping, are, I want to say, manifesting pretty quickly. So know that you close the door energetically and emotionally, because even though we may start a new cycle, if we haven't finished or completed something, we can feel it, because it'll come with us, and we will know that. So this is simply a mindful, intuitive message that I got about closing that door. Third and final message was listen to the voices. Literally. And again, I want to make this disclaimer I'm not a mental health professional. So always consult your mental health professional if you feel like, hey, this isn't normal. But on a more spiritual aspect, you may begin to hear, sense, feel, taste voices of your spiritual team. So this is really being receptive to the different clairs that you have. Again, it could be clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairgustance, clairalience. Some of you may, again, are opening up to different ways of receiving messages, different ways of developing your own gifts, and different ways of tying in that part of your life into this practical life that you're living here as a human, because you're learning lessons through and with those tools. And so these are guiding forces that are helping you. I feel like many folks are going to be experiencing spiritual awakenings, as commonly referred to, but also I call them like spiritual upgrades. It's almost like playing Nintendo, where you win a world and then you go to another world. It's similar to that. You may feel a heightened sense of awareness, heightened sense of forces around you that you can't explain. You may be seeing a lot of signs coming through, especially the dream state or clairvoyant means, but also animals, especially similar types, flying creatures. Maybe they're a similar or the same animal. You may be seeing certain synchronicities in terms of numbers, names, songs, music, references, whatever you denote, because we can receive signs and ask for particular signs in different areas, whether, again, it's book titles, names, whatever. These are all giving you, again, parts of the puzzle pieces for you to absorb, for you to marinate in, for you to take with you on this human journey. You may also, I kept getting restlessness. You may be feeling a lot of restlessness, anxiety, a knowing that something profound is about to change. I feel like this is a calm. For those that are familiar with like maritime nature, with waters, with oceans and seas, when the tide recedes, there's like a calmness, right? It's quiet. We see the rocks, sometimes mussel beds, sometimes you see different creatures, usually not fish. They're usually still in the water, right? And then the tide comes in and we start feeling more of that strength. In that similar sense, I feel like you may be feeling that similar tide, water energy as well. So I feel like who you are right now will be vastly different in about a month. And I think you can expand this further in that we all change. It's something that continues. So it's something that it's not like, oh, surprise, right? But this isn't about having fear. I keep getting a lot of heart soul connection. So again, pay attention to what you're receiving. Trust it. This is the most, if I could make one video on my channel and leave it on forever, it'd be to always trust what you're receiving. That's why it helps to document it. I always say it's like our proof, right? Okay, we are going to dive into all these signs. I am using whole sign system. Start with your rising, then your sun and moon, to take a look at how this particular new moon in Pisces is affecting you. I've never done this, so I'm going to try to keep this on time. We're going to start with Aries. So this new moon, it is passing through, happening in your 12th house, right? 12th house, Pisces. This is about closures, endings, things coming up to the surface, I feel. There are a lot of personal illuminations for you, my Aries. And I feel like many of you are ready to let go of an old version of you, of who you were. Some of you are really tapping into the spiritual side of yourself. And you're really being called to think about what is it that maybe spirituality means to you? How do you connect to yourself on a deeper level? What can you do to create maybe a foundation, a ritual, a practice that is going to help you maintain that part of yourself where you can connect to yourself, to your spiritual team, to something higher that is going to allow you almost, I kept getting like the wave, when you're just riding a wave, that'll allow you to carry you. Because I know with you all Pisces, Aries, it's easy to constantly just go ahead and to complete and do. And I'm getting a lot of rest energy as well with this lunation for you all. And so I feel like it's going to be very helpful to explore some fears as well, to be ready to acknowledge what needs to go, what you're ready to release, to acknowledge, and perhaps to, I keep getting books, but I'm getting shadow work, to delve into that part of yourself that you may be coming into a new level with, right? It's like a snake losing its skin. So I hope this helped, my Aries. Thank you so much. My Tauruses, this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 11th house of community, friendships, and groups, among many other things. And I feel like because of, I'm getting a lot of heart with you as well. And I feel like with this Piscean new moon, you're really being called to reassess connections that are still connected to you on a very emotional level. There's something about longevity here. And some of you may be, I'm hearing recycling, shifting perhaps, changing the way that you commune with others, the way that you show up in groups, the way that you spend your time and energy connecting and collaborating with others. There's a sense here of really wanting to connect with people that also share your same vision, that share your same underlying foundation and goals. And some of you are receiving epiphanies that some of the groups that you're in, or perhaps people you're around, it may be time for a revamp, or perhaps this could also mean communication, so that you're able to connect with people in a way that allows you to really feel that it's like a deeper soul connection. I feel like superficial groups, communities, it's something that you don't want to be a part of. I also am getting a shift in how you, again, show up in your relationships. So it's not just being with others, but it's also how you want to engage with other people, other groups, communities. I feel like, again, even though we're seeing large-scale groups and people, I feel it goes back to something on a smaller scale. Some of you may choose to do smaller circles, if you will, smaller groups, but it's still a group, because I feel like you're going to connect to people on a more deeper, intimate level. Thank you, my Tauruses. Geminis, we have this new moon passing through in your 10th house of career, public image, reputation, branding. and so much more. Remember, these are short nuggets. So my Geminis, I feel like with this lunation, there's a focus on your career, and I'm injecting a little bit more of a new creative expression in how you do what you do. Some of you may have been in careers that have been long-standing, and I feel like some of you are going to shift into careers that are tapping more into your feminine energy, into that creative, sensitive side. So some of you, this transition, you may be feeling it's like a, 180? I feel like it's a 360, where you may be coming full circle, something that you may have connected to in childhood or in the past. But some of you, for example, I'm getting like accounting all the way to artist or photographer. It's that type of energy of shifting completely to what you're doing, because there's a sense here of revamping that sector of your area and also expressing yourself in a new way. So intuitively, I'm getting the way that you appear in work. You may be changing your style, and that could be part of something larger like your personal branding, how you present yourself, how you promote yourself, how you show yourself to others, not just career-wise, but to the world. So my Geminis, I hope this has helped. Moving on, my Cancers, this lunation, this new moon is happening in your 9th house. So the 9th house speaks to also spirituality, foreign land and travel. We have higher education, belief systems. And I feel like with this new moon energy, this is really going to shift, because this is a sister sign for you. It's really going to shift your outlook in the world. It's almost like putting on a brand new pair of glasses. And it's like, wow, this is different. It's more fine-tuned. You may be shifting your belief systems, perhaps around spirituality, but I feel like this is more of a macro level view of how you are seeing your own world, your own purview, how you are, it's almost like getting in the driver's seat and looking through in the driver's, that part of the window, or I should say, what is it called? Screen? I forgot. The glass, the window, the glass where that covers the car. I feel like you are seeing things in a very brand new way, and it has to do a lot with connecting to that emotional side of yourself and not being afraid to inculcate that in different ways, perhaps in an upgraded way. Some of you, I feel with this lunation, you may be feeling called to connect to like a retreat of sorts. It could be a professional one, but also personal, like a pilgrimage, some type of, it doesn't have to entail travel. It could simply be a retreat at home, but there's some type of organized event within the home or even across boundaries in other countries or another geographic area where you are tapping into new resources, new knowledge, perhaps something new that you've learned and that you're exploring and that you are including as part of this new way of looking at life. Thank you, my Cancers, for being here. Next, we have my Leos. This new moon is happening in your 8th house. This is of shared resources, taxes, intimacy, sexuality, power. I feel like this lunation is really allowing you to tap into vulnerability, into your heart, into really looking at what it means for you and really connecting to that part of yourself so that you are able to do that with others. There's a strong need here of really diving deep. It's not a superficial time. I feel like many of you are like, I want to go deeper. I want to connect to people on a whole new level. Some of you are exploring trust, betrayal, power issues, and things that may be coming up in your relationships. I also feel like for those in partnerships, it may be almost like a revamp, maybe a refresh, if you will, of exploring a different facet of that relationship, particularly if it's a relationship that's been long-standing and maybe you're like, something has to change. There could have been some stagnancy. I'm sensing that this lunation is going to give a brand new energy of I'm getting like love, but also a new creative way of approaching it. It's almost like when people have date nights. And again, even if you're not in a romantic relationship, this could be with any relationship because intimacy occurs between any relationship. Granted, there's certain types that are only with romantic partnerships, like sexual. But I feel like for folks that aren't, this is really about refreshing things and doing things in a creative new way. And again, a lot of heart space energy. You all rule the heart chakra as well. So I feel like this is going to help support for those of you that are also on self-love journeys, radical self-love journeys, on healing. It's going to help bring that forward. Thank you, my Leos. Next, we have my Virgos. This lunation is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, clients as well. And so with this Piscean energy, because Pisces is exalted in the 7th house, I would say, but Venus, which rules the 7th house, I feel like this is going to allow for those of you that are in partnerships, again, like a refresh. It's almost like, okay, something's changing. You may be feeling like there may be a different approach to how you are engaging with your partner. There may be a new whimsical, lighthearted, loving effect. And it's almost like a renewal. You know, when people renew their vows, whether or not you are in that type of union, it's almost like that energy of, we are going to do something different. We are going to recommit. And it's almost adds a freshness to that relationship. For those of you that are looking for love, I feel like this is going to be a time where you are going to potentially meet people and call in all relationships that are very soul-centered, very aligned. But I feel more so, my Virgos, I feel like it's you wanting to get connected to people that are simply aligned with you and not messing around with people that aren't. So you may be really connecting to that embodiment, to that feeling, and you will know right away when anyone, relationship-wise, friendship, platonic, or romantic, is for you. So this is also a beautiful time to call in clients. I feel like with this lunation passing through, some of you may feel and may get a lot of, I would say, really creative means of connecting with people, of collaborating, especially on creative projects. Some of you that are healers or work in spiritual areas, you may see a heightened sense of working with others and may start seeing folks coming into your sphere during this time, if this is what you're looking for. Thank you, my Virgos. Next, we have my Libras. This lunation is happening in your 6th house of work, service, routines, habits, pets, and so much more. So I feel like this lunation is really about reassessing your time and energy management, doing things efficiently, making sure your habits and your routines and perhaps systems are in place that are helping you work in the most optimal way. You may be assessing your work-life balance and making sure that you are taking care of your holistic self, because 6th house also rules illnesses, sicknesses, and some of you may be really proactive or wanting to be proactive of preventing illness or mediating, or I should say ameliorating any illnesses at this time. And so this is going to be a wonderful time to get that balance in place, to allow potential, I would say, any stress, any burnout to remain very low so that you can remain your best self. Thank you, my Libras. Next, we have Scorpios. This lunation is happening in your 5th house. So 5th house deals with creativity, with children, romance, love, dating, entrepreneurship, creative arts, I should say, like music, dance, and did I say dating? And so much more. And so for my Scorps in this area, and also as a fellow sister sign to Pisces, I feel like you, again, these are very general. I feel like you may be experiencing changes and more profound clarity around what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. Some of you may be really dipping your toes into what is it that I want to do that is going to bring me the joy in my daily life, in my weekly life. What can I do to simply bring more of that into my life? Some of you are being called to engage in your inner child. This is a great time for inner child work. And I feel like my Scorps, this is going to be an opportunity to really also expand your heart space. So some of you may be, again, refreshing your love life. If you are in partnership, you may be instituting like date nights and things like that, perhaps going out and interacting with different forms of entertainment, different cultural sites and things like that to enhance that part of your life. Overall, I see that this is going to bring a lot of new ideas and ways to express yourself with joy, and this is going to completely fulfill this part of what you may have been missing or that has been somewhat imbalanced for you. Thank you, my Scorpios. Next, we have my Sagittariuses. This lunation is happening in your 4th house. So this is about ancestors, lineage, family, home, your emotions, emotional security, and also physical security. And so my Sagittarius, you may be highlighting, or what may be highlighted during this lunation, maybe closer to home. You may be feeling like you want to hide out on the couch, take care of yourself, formalize your sanctuary, make it more inviting, more loving, more connected. You may be changing up the way that you decorate. Again, this is tied to how you feel. So you may be switching up colors, expressing yourself in a new way. Perhaps you are also changing how you are relating to your family. I feel like there's going to be different forms of understanding when it comes to family and your past. You may be coming into like a full acceptance and a lot of profound compassion and forgiveness around certain issues that are coming up for you. And again, I feel overall that many of you are going to be contemplating more. You may be feeling a little bit more introverted during this time and thinking about how you want this part of your life, how you want your family or envision your family to look like. Thank you, my Sagittariuses. Next, we have my Capricorns. This lunation is happening in your 3rd house of siblings, I would say cousins and aunts and family members like that, neighbors, learning, communication, travel around the area. And so my Caps, I feel like with this part, you may be, I'm getting expression. You may be feeling a need to express yourself in a different way. Perhaps many of you are being invited to work or hone or cultivate a different form of expression, maybe through writing, through speaking, taking opportunities to learn about these different elements. I'm getting like blogging, podcasting. Some of you may join groups that allow you to practice your public speaking. I feel like you may be focused on connecting to local groups. So I'm getting like local meetups and different associations, clubs, and things like that will allow you to cultivate this part of your identity, because I'm getting a lot of new creative expressions and layers being unveiled when it comes to how you communicate with others. Thank you, my Capricorns. Next, we have my Aquariuses. This lunation is happening in your 2nd house of income, value, worth, talents, self-esteem. We can say the money house, how you bring in money. And again, I feel like with this lunation, some of you are finally settling into the career, I would say, where you bring in most of your income or income streams, are settling into a career that you resonate with, that is very connected to what it is that you find emotionally satisfying. I also feel like this may also present, you may be getting a lot of dreams and different ideas on how to bring in additional income streams. They may be different than what you've imagined, but they're going to create and potentially open the door, pave the way to something more long-term and sustainable. I'm getting that these are streams that you may not have thought of, so pay attention to your dreams as well. I also feel like for many of you that are connecting your work identity to your value, there's an exploration there on what it means and that belief system and structure, because I feel like for those of you that have had to separate your value systems, I would say your self-worth and your identity, especially when it comes to work, this may be coming up during this lunation, and realizing that they don't have to be of one, they could be separate. Thank you, my Capricorns. Thank you, my Aquariuses. And finally, we have my Pisces. This lunation is happening in your first house of self, of your identity, your body, your appearance, who you are, your personality. And this is your glow up, especially if you are a solar Pisces. This is your birthday month, or season, I should say. And you may just be feeling invigorated. I feel like this new moon is allowing you to revamp yourself, to push higher. And when I say that, I mean level up. And I feel like many of you are stretching yourselves and changing the way, essentially, like this is like a snake skin too, shedding old you and stepping into a new you. And I keep getting slithering. You may be slithering towards your dreams, and you may be feeling heightened in power. This is your month, and you have tremendous energy to go for what you want. So some of you may be changing, again, the way you look, because many times when we reach this moment in our cycle, in our life, there's an upgrade happening. You may be also receiving a lot of clarity, a lot of confirmations about things that you have been asking and wanting to do forward. Everyone, I hope these intuitive messages help for all signs. Again, these are very general. It's important to say that. They're very broad because there are so many themes happening. Without exploring individual charts, it's really difficult to give, and even with time to do justice in that area. These are just glimpses, themes to be aware of, and how you can best utilize the energy in your way, and to also trust your own internal guidance, your own intuition and discernment, and how this will unfold for you. So thank you all for being here. I hope this has helped. Comment down below. I'd love to hear what you're experiencing. If you're a Pisces, I'm wishing you a beautiful, beautiful, happy birthday to you all. This is your month. I hope all of your dreams and wishes come true. Always believe, always have faith. Thank you all. I'll see you soon.